and the other president's experience to upgrade my teamwork with my local committee and with my region. So that is the idea of today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Jasmine, do you want to say something before I proceed?
Yeah, I want to introduce you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. I'm going to present Amos Amanubos. He is from Uganda and currently living in South Africa. Last in Ifsa, he was internal counselor, back then head of council, and president in 2019. Now he's a research associate at African Center of Foreign Economy, Youth Outreach, and liaison coordinator of World Forestry Congress. And he is finishing the master in the University of Cape Town, the Master of Philosophy, Environment, and Sustainability. Thank you so much, Amos, for being here, for accepting the invitation, and I hope we all can enjoy your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for hijacking that. I've quite known a number of people in here, so I thought it was just going to be this kind of spirit that I've always had. But thank you for that kind introduction. Can I go with the questions from my side?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got a number of questions that was from the team that curated this session, this workshop. And the first is for me to talk about the benefits of volunteer work. The second is, of course, to talk about IFSA's value. The third is about the importance of being an official, an IFSA official. And then there are some questions that I will answer in the main auditorium. Sorry, I did not prepare a PowerPoint for you so that we could have this session interactive and listen to one another. And please interject anytime and say anything if you don't get me clear. Maybe I should give a quick background of my IFSA experience, if that's fine for you, Jasmine, if that's fine for everyone, just to set the pace. So I joined forestry. I was always split between taking forestry and not taking it, but there was lots of reasons to take forestry when I joined undergrad. And when I joined it, because I'm sure, I don't know how it is in your country, but in certain spaces in my country back then, also forestry is kind of a despised career. You have to be a lawyer, a pilot, a doctor, then people will regard you highly. But then I always kept looking for this platform where I could create meaning for myself, like to meet fellow foresters who are challenging themselves and who are inspired by being in forestry. So I think the first encounter that I had with IFSA was in 2017. I attended IFSS in South Africa. I'm currently in South Africa now, but I came all the way from Uganda when I was doing my undergrad, and I attended IFSS. And it was the first time I met a really international group of young people who were studying forestry, and they were super proud of studying it. And they knew exactly why they were studying it and how they wanted to make a living for themselves out of it, a career, and sort of also give their fair share of contribution to the world. So interacting with lots of these young people, I did not join IFSA at that time as, I was not an official member of IFSA. I joined as an associate member of Nelson Mandela University. There was this one moment in the General Assembly where they say, if anyone is not eligible to vote, let them put their hands out. And the General Assembly votes to either kick them out or keep them in. And I was not eligible, so, but the General Assembly actually agreed to keep me in. Since then, I came back because I was so challenged. I came back to my country and I formed the LC in my university. And that's somehow where my IFSA journey started. But that was just a snapshot. But then I will just go into the benefits of volunteer work because I worked as the membership counselor for IFSA and as the president, as the head of council and as a president. These are all very intense works. Sometimes, to be honest, maybe Alina and Dolores will share the same experiences with you. Sometimes it goes way beyond 8 hours per day, way much beyond that. It's like a full-time job. So doing that voluntarily and not being paid is like, it takes a lot of, a lot of this sense of service I want to give back. But I listed down a number of benefits of being a voluntary worker or working voluntarily. The first one, of course, is that you at least keep busy and you keep productive. Of course, if you don't have anything to do voluntarily, that means there are only three options. You're either employed and earning money, or you are idle at home and doing nothing, or you are doing something productive in a voluntary space. And Ifsa was this space where I could do something voluntarily. When I started doing it voluntarily, the benefits were much more than what I could do in work. At some point, I got employed when I finished my uni, immediately after finishing my university. I got employed by the Ministry of Energy in my country as a junior environmental impact assessment officer. My contract was long, but I resigned at some point because I had to. I enjoyed my voluntary experience more. I left the job at the Ministry of Energy to continue my building myself and growing together with other people in Ifsa. So you can clearly see that at some point it's better. It depends on how you place your cards on. It's about your cards, how you use your cards, which card you draw at what time. So being productive and being of service is being productive and keeping busy, doing something that is meaningful. The second is, it just gives you a sense of, service. You're working, you're delivering. You're not just working for money. And that gives you so much credibility because we're working in this space where people work voluntarily. The same work that you're doing here, someone in a very big organization is doing for money. But then you realize that, at least from my experience in Ifsa, I knew that some of the things that we did were way much better than some of the things that were being done in organizations, NGOs where people are paid. So it is, if you can do it, it's a sense of humility and a sign that you are actually being of service and you're very credible. Because if you can do something for free, right now, Jasmine is in Mexico. It's very late in the night, I assume. That is sacrifice, and that is a sense of service. And that is where we get pride from. Tolerance and patience. You know that it does get frustrating sometimes when you're working voluntarily. Simone already mentioned it earlier on that you have to bother people. And that's what Ifsa is about sometimes. You have to keep following up people. And the beauty is that at one point, if you are committed to your work, it doesn't actually bother you that, hey, after all, I'm working for free. No, because you know that there is this value, this kind of value that you are building that I don't know, for instance, I would look at myself and say, for all the places that I've been to, all the experiences that I accrued through Ifsa, if I was supposed to pay money for it, I don't know how much flight costs I would have paid, how much hotel accommodation costs I would have paid when I went to Brazil, when I go to Germany, wherever I go. I don't know how much that would have been. But then there is this kind of payment that you get, this sort of in-kind payment in terms of experiences, in terms of exposure that you get from this voluntary experience. But the most important thing is tolerance and patience. I can imagine that about 23 people joined this call, this workshop, but Ifsa has more officials than 23. They have about 50 people. You have to be patient, you have to understand, you have to be tolerant. And that is one thing that it trains you, because this is well much needed in the workspace, in the professional space. You need that skill. It gets so bureaucratic that you submit something for approval. I'm just giving an example, not just a hypothetical, but it happens in real life. That you do some work, you submit it probably for approval, whatever, and you could wait forever, and you keep knocking, hey, you're not going to lose your mind. You have to keep your patience. And the fact is, if you don't learn that in this kind of space, you are likely going to be the same nuisance in a professional world, and it's not going to be the best. So that's one thing that Ifsa trained me. It's a matter of character fixing in terms of, voluntary work. Voluntary work also gives you a very nice opportunity to grow your own skills. So out there in some organizations, whatever, it's like a bomb making factory. If you make a mistake, you're gone. You know, it's like you're manufacturing bombs. You don't make mistakes. You have to be well calculated. But Ifsa is this, you know, you're working voluntarily, and you're working in this space where trials are acceptable, where you can make a mistake, where you can make an error, and you can correct it. So this is a very good opportunity, to be honest, for you to learn and grow, even if it's voluntary. If you have any questions, please feel free to jump through. I'm just going through the points that I jotted down. Yeah, in terms of Ifsa's values, I don't get quite well what the question meant, if it's Ifsa's values or the values that govern Ifsa, but I'll answer them on two fronts. So Ifsa's values, what I came to understand as the values that I got from Ifsa or that are shared in Ifsa. The first one is learning. Some people come, like, for instance, English is not the official language of everyone else. Some come and learn it in this space. It's just all about learning. And that's one thing you gain from Ifsa. So it's always good for you to step out of that, that fixed and rigid space to explore and venture and learn as much as you can. The second value that Ifsa accrues to people, I think, is the opportunities that you get. Some of the opportunities you don't get anywhere else. You only get it in this space. If they call you to speak in a UN event, if they call you to speak in an ITTO event, you get that because you are a member of Ifsa, and that's a value that accrues to you, to no one else. You know, people want to join Ifsa so that they can tap into these opportunities. But then you are already in this space. Why don't you start to sort of look for those opportunities? The next one is, of course, sharing. You share a lot of ideas, a lot of knowledges. That is also connected to making friendships. I don't know how many friends I've made through Ifsa, but I've made so many friends. When I jumped on this call, it was a very familiar space. Dolores, Alina, Juliet here, Alex, and everyone else. And in one way or the other, these friends always refer to you, even when they get out, when you move out from Ifsa into your professional space, if there is an opportunity. For instance, right now, usually, if there is anything forestry related, the first thing I think about is, oh, I had this friend in Ifsa who knows this well. So that is the first person that I reach. In terms of the values now that I know that govern people in Ifsa, and it probably doesn't govern everyone, but these are values that I used during my time in a way, and values that I hold dearly up to today. It's very necessary for leaders, for leadership, in my view, since you are also all leaders. The first thing is empathy. I don't think without empathy, it's my view, but you can dispute it. I don't think without empathy, you can be a good leader, to be honest. To define empathy in simple terms, I read it somewhere. It says that empathy is the ability to walk a mile in someone's shoes. You put yourself in their shoes and walk in it. It's not just seeing someone and feeling it, it's feeling it from their side. And you need that a lot in Ifsa, because in Ifsa, people go through a lot, right? It's all this voluntary space. You have to understand that people are going through this. For instance, I'll just give a random example that has been so much troublesome maybe in Ifsa for a long while. It's a global organization. People are from different countries, and all these different countries have different income levels. So €1 in Europe is so huge in my country, in Uganda, you know. So when I go for an event in Europe, for instance, we can go out and I'm just giving a random example. We can go out to the bar during a night, whatever, and I have my €10 and we go and drink because it's an international night and I'm going to drink. But then that €10, when I come back to Uganda, could probably pay the school fees of 10 children because for a term. So I'm just giving an example of, we have to understand where people are from, what challenges they are going through. These are the values: empathy, feeling, knowing people and being genuine about what people are going through. And that is how you're going to make some genuine friends in Ifsa. The second thing is diversity. Ifsa is about diversity. That's also linked to empathy. I will link diversity to cultural awareness, right? Cultural competency. But being able to understand what cultures govern your belief system, what is appropriate for you and what is not appropriate for you, that's also a value within Ifsa. But where does cultural awareness start from? So it starts from self-awareness. You have to build this sense of self-awareness. If I am aware of the things that I have been saying or that I'm going to say, conscious about everything that I do, then I will start to learn how that connects with the people around me. Because to be honest, Ifsa is a very culturally diverse space, you know? Someone's probably from Uganda or Philippines or Mexico or anywhere else. Oh, Philippines, cool. I don't know what sort of, for instance, I don't know what cultural values govern drinking in Philippines, like drinking alcohol. But I assume there's countries where people are from societies where drinking alcohol is probably something that's not the best. It's not seen as culturally appropriate. And then you go for Ifsa and you're either going to have the Ifsa night, it's just something that has happened before, or you're going to have an international night where people are going to drink alcohol. And it's very easy for you to come to someone who is very conservative about alcohol to say, hey, can you try this? And then you keep forcing your way through, hey, try this, try this. You don't know that you're stepping on their toes in terms of their cultural beliefs and backgrounds. So being constantly aware is like a value in Ifsa. Part of self-awareness is knowing your weaknesses. When I was in Ifsa, every time I went to the drawing board and tried to find what my weaknesses are, I would have these personal, workshops with myself and say, hey, what are my weaknesses? What are my weaknesses? Yes.
But what do you think is the best way to actually connect with these cultural differences or cultural kinds of relation with different I don't know, situations or topics? Because now we have the online platform to actually know these different cultures along the year maybe. But before we only have the IFSS maybe, or maybe the regional meetings. So how can we really connect with this difference to have event the next year actually in Chile, because we are going to have the IFSS here. So I really want to know how to facilitate this situation.
Benjamin, are you still there? I think the internet is broken.
Yeah, it's frozen.
But if I guess the question right, you wanted to find more about how they can use this space of cultural awareness and competency, especially for IFSS. Joseph, I'll come back to you. I think Ifsa has a cultural competency. So over the past years, we've been drawing these guidelines on how to sort of broaden the understanding of the members of Ifsa regarding cultural awareness. And there's always, it's a very huge document. And sometimes Ifsa people don't read, to be honest. They don't read huge documents. And so you have to make things very brief. You have to speak to people. But I think people can read documents, but it's this constant reminder to people that you have to be aware, you have to question. Don't create a space where people assume. Because if I begin to assume, then it's very dangerous because I'm going to step on your toes. Let there be no space for assumptions. Let people ask, let people know. Because if people assume, then it's by themselves. But if people begin to know and begin to become curious, then it works out. But I think if you're organizing for the sake of IFSS, you should make that very clear from the start in terms of cultural awareness. Yeah, Joseph.
Can I actually add more to your answer to Benjamin's question?
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, I'm actually the current cultural competencies head. So I'll be explaining some of the things that may help answers Benjamin's question. So as of the moment, since we are online, we're currently doing these cultural days wherein we feature certain countries from different regions where IFSA has local committees and they're going to present some things about their country, their culture, about the things that you should do or you shouldn't do, and just important facts that every members of IFSA should know. And beside with that, I'm currently planning on making a guidelines regarding cultural awareness and sensitivity, which I think is really important since, as you said, we're pretty diverse here in IFSA and it is important for us to respect boundaries of other people, especially regarding their culture. So regarding this current platform, I actually have a lot of plans wherein I will try to help the members of IFSA be more culturally aware and respectful individuals. And I'll keep you guys updated if you want to be part of this project. I have a lot of projects. So yeah, I hope I answered your question, Benjamin.
Thank you so much, Joseph. It's good to know that you're the cultural competencies person in IFSA. Yeah, it's very important to let these things out, but I never rule out the importance of being self-aware, because so much can go wrong in just 1 or 2 words. We're in this space, not where everyone is. IFSA's official formal language is English, of course, but not everyone is fluent in English. 1 or 2 words could spoil everything, said incorrectly. It's very easy maybe to be misinterpreted. It's this space where a lot could go wrong. So it's very important for you to always be aware whether this is right, whether this is wrong, how will this be received by the person? And I feel like it starts from yourself before you step out of your bubble to begin to understand other people's cultures. Do you understand your values well? Do other people step on it and don't you speak up, or do you speak up? That is the kind of space. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take, but if there is no questions, I'm definitely happy to go to the importance of being an IFSA official. Good. I just want to present something here quickly. I hope I can get it. I'm happy to talk besides this photo. Can you guys see my photo?
Yes.
Yes.
That was me in 2017. That was during IFSS in South Africa. Before that, I was not an official. I was looking for a photo that would communicate clearly what my IFSA experience has been like. But as far as being an IFSA official is concerned, I think for everything in my country, in my career so far, this far I've come, I think a lot of it is attributable to the fact that I'm gonna stop sharing so I can see everyone else. Is attributable to the fact that I was once in IFSA. I think the first thing from those that I listed down to those that I feel that I got from IFSA, the first thing is friends. IFSA is a space of friends. I've known people who met in IFSA and have gone on, people from different countries, and have gone on to get married. It just doesn't stop at friendship. That's like one of the far ends, but yeah, that's building friendships is very important in IFSA. If you leave IFSA without friends, then you have not made the best out of IFSA, because out there, it's about who knows you. When someone is talking about an internship, for instance, an internship recommendation, I'm just giving random examples. If someone's talking about an internship recommendation with FAO regional offices in Bangkok or with Rakoft, about an internship, whom can they refer to? I'll just, of course, say, obviously, hey, I know someone who could apply, who is very competent. And you already have a starting ground. I know Joseph, I know Alex, I know Benjamin. So it's about making friends, and you should make as much friends as possible. There's a conference, whom can I refer to? They're gonna say, hey, who could speak about this? And what comes to my mind is, I know so-and-so, he can come up and speak, he's competent in this field. So it's about friends. That's like the most thing. I cannot emphasize that enough. The second benefit of being an Ifsa official is you get experience that you get nowhere else. For now, at least at this level, you cannot get this experience to pull a workshop together. Some people don't know how to use Zoom, to be honest. Some people can't draw a cultural competencies guideline. Some people don't know graphics design, you know, a lot. Not just that, soft skills, right? We learn a lot of this from Ifsa. I think Juliet and the FE guys did a workshop last, when I was in IFSS, Estonia, about soft competencies. That is something that you gain in Ifsa. Speaking alone is one of them. I think that's one I learned. That's one thing that I also learned from Ifsa is you begin to learn how to do things, public speaking is one of them, all these soft competencies, interpersonal relations, communication. So it's a space where you skill yourself, where you can still, I'm not saying that you should make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but where you can make mistakes in the process of learning, and you will not get your contract terminated, because in a professional world, it's like, oh, we have lost profits, you know, your mistake has costed the company this much. We've lost profits, we're firing you, we're taking you to jail and so on. But Ifsa is where you gain these experiences and skills. Beyond soft competencies and skills, you get to learn cultures. That's one thing. You get to travel places once COVID is over, if that comes for you guys. So that translates to your CV, right? You're not just going to take a CV when you apply for an internship or a job. You're not just going to take a CV that has your gender and your date of birth. You're going to take a CV that has some levels of experience from your level of, you know, entry. Skills and experiences, yes. Opportunities to build yourself. It's the same as skills to get jobs. You learn teamwork, that's still a skill. And then you have an opportunity to sort of create an impact in the world. For all the jobs that I have got so far, all the jobs that I got since graduating, completing my undergrad in 2019, all of them have been attributable to the experiences, most of them, to the experiences that I accrued in Ifsa. And you too can start to look for that experiences. Sometimes they just don't come to you. You have to find them within Ifsa. You have to step up and live up to them and deliver. So that is one thing that comes to my mind. I think we have 10 minutes. But if there is any questions, I'm totally happy to take those questions. But if there is no questions, I designed a very small Menti for you guys. If you can go on menti.com right now. I'm just gonna put the code there. In the chat. Okay. If you can go to menti.com and enter that code, we can run through this exercise very quickly before time cuts us short. I hope this works, eh? Are you guys there? Good.
Yes, I
Yes.
think they're grading.
Yes, we're here. Thank you very much, Amos, for all your experiences you have shared. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I just want to say thank you, and I really enjoy your presentation. I mean your discussion. And myself, I can share also in your sentiment. I've learned quite a lot of things in this time, which I possibly would not be able to learn outside Ifsa. So, and it has been good for my professional life. So I think the use opportunity should be a great one.
I only have 3 responses there. Can I have more, guys? Can I have more? I'm gonna check again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That's encouraging now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 more people. 2 more people. There's 5 there, but it's fine. I'm just gonna present it and let's see what brought you to Ifsa. Share screen. Okay, cool. What brought you to Ifsa, right? So we are rethinking our purpose. What are you actually here for? Are you just here because you want to hold a position? Are you just here because you see it as a stepping stone for you in the next 10 years or 15 years for your career? Are you just here after 1 year you get lost and no one even knows that you were in Ifsa? What are you here for? It's anonymous, so that's fine. Someone's here because they need to connect with peers. That's very important. Perhaps 2 months from now, you can write back to me and I'll be happy to chat you on how you're progressing. Someone's here because they need to build a worthy network, learn, become better with hands-on experience. That's just a space. That's what you gain from Ifsa. Helping LC with IFSS before it was suspended. Helping your ALC, yeah, that's very cool. Organizing IFSS is a very immense experience. It's so huge. It's very stressful, I know that. My dream of working in a foreign country and learning the different unique things about them and experiencing firsthand what makes the country amazing. Adventure, that's cool. I'm just gonna move this around. Felipe. I met Felipe before. I have a gift from him, a very small gift. And I love it so much. It freaks everyone out usually, but it's like my little secret. Yeah, so to be honest, everyone is here for very valid reasons, but you're either invited by a friend, you're inspired by a friend, but does your own desire to make yourself better inspire you to be here, to build your career, to want to grow here, to want to work, to connect with international organizations or national organizations, to gain those skills? What is it, apart from working with people, connecting with friends, are you looking forward to out of Ifsa for this year to build yourself? That's what I am interested in most, to build yourself and those around you. I challenge you to think about this and think about yourself. How do I want to grow? Not only in terms of being known by people or my soft skills, but in terms of my career, what is relevant for my career? Because in the end, when you leave this space, to be honest, you have to show something for yourself. That I spent 1 year in Ifsa, I spent 2 years in Ifsa, and this is where the benefit is. Is that coming out clearly? Good, I'm gonna stop sharing now. And can you guys see the next screen? You guys can't see it?
No, we can.
Okay, that's gonna be a little bit messy. if you're still on menti.com and if you enter that same same code, you should be able to see the next question. Do you?
No, no, it's not.
Copy link. I just hope I don't mess this up. Good, I got it. Yeah, I'm gonna paste it there. I probably didn't learn so much about Menti during my times in Ifsa. That's the knowledge I should have gained when I was within Ifsa. So it's there. You can use the same code and put it there. Do you see it?
But it is the same question?
Yeah. I think it was the same question.
Oh, it's the same question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because the last page says that you need to change the slide or something like that.
Good.
Okay, now I can see it.
Oh, you can see the question, right?
Yeah, now I can see it too.
Good. Yeah. Just a yes or no. We can finish that in the next 2 minutes and get done.
Yeah, can see it now.
There's 5 people. 2 more people are still in the hiding. Can they please show up? Present. I'm just gonna share my screen, and to be honest, you have friends in Ifsa and you know what they want to achieve through Ifsa. That's like usually the first step. This also connects to the points that Simon put through regarding teamwork, because in this space, it's not just about yourself. It's not just about how you feel. It's about how other people feel, what they want to achieve for themselves, and what you can achieve collectively. I cannot emphasize the importance of being able to understand or feel what other people feel. But I can only say that for sure, being genuinely interested in other people, wanting to know what they want to achieve for themselves, and creates this environment where you are able to work together as genuine friends and not just as random people, because indeed we meet here as random people from different countries. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm quite impressed that you have friends in Ifsa and that you know, for the fact, like in a virtual space where you're not able to meet people. For our times, you could meet people in events, you could attend IFSS physically, but you still don't know anyone, you still live. But I'm honestly happy that you already know and have friends here and know what they want to achieve for themselves through Ifsa. So that is already a ground for you to start working together. But yeah, for our 40 minutes are done now. I don't want to push through time because one of the skills we say that we gained from Ifsa was time management. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much. Cheers.
We have like extra 5 minutes, so we have 4 more to go.
Okay, cool then.
Yeah,
cool. If we have 4 more minutes, that's fine. I have 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. I don't want to emphasize how good Ifsa has been to me. For me, like as a space to grow, how good it can be a space for you to grow as a person and to learn. you're all doing your degrees now. Some are doing their masters. People don't, when you step out there, people don't see you as a child anymore. You have to live up to it in a way, but you're still in this space here in Ifsa where you're corrected in a nice way, where you can grow, where someone can say, hey, you should have done this that way, and not where someone immediately writes the firing letter. So it's up to you. Use it wisely and use it well. At the end of this Ifsa year, I'll be keen. I mean, I've met Elvis before. I'll probably meet him when I go back to Uganda. I've met Juliet before. I'll probably meet her when I go to Germany or Kenya anytime. I've met Alex. I've not met Alex. We're very close friends, but we have never met before. But the world is a very small space for foresters. That's one thing I should let you know. We could meet anywhere, anytime. It's very, very small. It's not like medicine. It's not like, foresters are few, you know, technically. It's not like social sciences or law where there's lots of people, or engineering. It's just this small fraternity, and we get to meet anytime. I can be sure in my lifetime, I'll meet each one of you. And I'll definitely ask you that question of, hey, what did you make of that Ifsa year? Are you just gonna disappear after this, or? Yeah, thank you.